Greetings, fantasy nerds. Welcome to another edition, another week, another video for the feet-seeking missiles. Mr. First Place, 4-1, point leader. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying that, but it is true. Overall, check the scores, check the standings. First place, point leader. So now this was debated by Mr. Geoff with me a couple weeks ago, where I said point leader. It was for that week. It wasn't overall, but I caught up, so now I am point leader overall. I got a funny story about Geoff. I'll get to that in a second when we recap. But just to have you know, he does have some value to his argument. So I'm sitting at 691. Jeff's right behind me. That's why he was arguing. He's at 687. Close behind him is Bobby, 682. Followed behind him is Mike, 677. Then you're going to drop off with Team Elite Chris Johnson at 601. But I think here's Jeff's argument. Here's what I understand is points against. Now, I played some scrub teams. Tony was the only one who beat me. But if I'm looking at my standings correctly, I beat Geoff, I beat Bobby, I beat Mike, I beat Chris. I don't know, did I beat Chris? I don't know if I played him yet. But I know I beat those three, so if I play some scrub teams, you're the scrub teams, right? Because my points against are 583, right? So that's how many people, that's how much points have scored against me. Geoff is sitting at 645, which is a big difference. So he's played tougher teams, than, theoretically, than I have. So me and Mr. Commish here don't give a shit. We're first place. We're just sitting on top of it, at least for this week, and loving it, especially being the point leader. 691 right here, these guys. So with that being said, let's recap the game so we can talk a little bit about this stuff. So me and Manny, like I said, easy win. I killed it. Manny thought he had a chance. He was looking at the projections from the computer, and those projections don't always, rarely are they right. You got to kind of go with your gut feeling and other things. BB and Sam wasn't a contest here. I don't think there was any really close games this week. Sam took it down 120 to 94. Tony and Luke. Luke got the W. Luke's been picking up some steam here. I think ever since he changed his name to Rick Danger, things have been going well. Tony's been the kind of the opposite, on the downward spiral. So here we go. Here's the story. Geoff, Chris. So Chris, he says his team either struggles to make it to 100 or does awesome, which it looks like from the stats. But he made it to 100. But I thought he might have had a shot against Geoff. But going into Monday night, Geoff had like Breeze, Kamara. I think he had Ingram, and then somebody else. And I even texted him. I'm like, oh, you're gonna start the kicker for New Orleans too? Like, he had all of New Orleans squad. He said it was a strategy, but it paid off. He ended up getting the W on that Monday Night Football. 131 to 111. So the strategy worked out for Jeff. And I even texted him to congratulate him, and he, sent me this picture of, him celebrating. I'm guessing Monday night he was probably somewhere at a bar, watching the game, got the win, and had a couple of drinks. So he took a screenshot of the score and then drew on it, and he sent it to me, right, as a proud kind of achievement. Yes, my strategy worked. And I looked at it, and this drawing's hilarious. I'm going to put it up on the message boards. I didn't look at the whole picture at first, and I'm like, I texted him, is that you? Like, did you draw yourself? And he was like, well, I think it was supposed to be a girl at first because, the boobs. And I looked, and sure enough, like, if you look at the whole picture, there's some boobs on the bottom, but like, she had short hair, because I thought it was him, but I was like, where's your beard? But let me point it out that art makes you think, so it's art, and I'm going to share it with you guys, but he's getting the credit. So you'll see Jeff's art from his win that he probably doodled while he was hammered. So next is Shay and Bobby. Bobby took it down. Steamrolled Shay, wasn't a contest. And then last, Mike and Scotty. Scotty, you had a good game this week. You could have beat Manny. You could have beat Chris even, but you went up against someone that scored 141. I feel for you. I thought you could have had it, but Mike took it down. So next week, going into it. So it's me, 4-1, first place again. Sam against Sam, 2-3 team. Of course, I'm going for myself. I'm going to pick me. Next is Tony at 2 and 3 versus BB at 2 and 3. So two of the teams that really need a win right now to stay competitive. I'm picking BB because Tony was the one who gave me my first and only loss this season. Next is Luke and Geoff. I'm pulling for Luke because Geoff has a better record, and like I said, Luke's trending right now. Mr. Rick Danger on a tear. Next is Manny, 0 and 5. You know, Manny, it happens. There has to be losers every year if there's winners every year. I know it's your first year back. Please don't let it sour you on the Feet Seeking Missiles League. But also, don't be one of those jackasses that just gives up and doesn't give a shit. Start somebody. And which brings me to my next question is the poll. Only 4 people have voted on the poll. And Manny, this would affect you if you did end up in last place. You could pick your position next year, and that's an advantage. So if you guys don't know about it, it's about the draft for next year. Go vote on it. It's pretty simple. If you need an explanation, let me know and I'll give you a better one. But Manny, this does affect you, so don't punk out on the league. Keep some starters in there. I hope you get a win. I'm pulling for you this week against Shay, which is doable. He's 2 and 3. His squad's not that good. He streams players all the time, it seems like. So, you know, I think you can pull out this win. So give yourself some kind of a semblance of manhood. Next is Chris versus Mike. Now, Chris put it up on the message boards that I don't, what did he say? It was like, don't pick me again. So every time I don't pick him, it seemed like, well, he lost last week and I didn't pick him. So I was going to not pick him again out of spite, but he's going against Mike, 4 and 1. Need him to fall. So Chris, I'm picking you this week, so you better fucking win. Last one, Bobby and Scotty. So Bobby's 4 and 1. Scotty's 0 and 5, another 0 and 5 team. But I can tell Scotty's trying because he added Jamal Charles. He's obviously following the news, who just got picked up by who was it, Jacksonville today. So you're making pickups, right? So that's a good thing. I know you're trying, Scotty, so I don't think you're punk out, and you've been in the league for a few years and haven't won anything. So I'm going to pull for you again, Scotty. Take down Mr. Bobby. So the last thing I want to get to, I already talked about the poll. Make sure you guys go and vote. It's pretty easy. Is waiver wire ads. I've been hearing from people like, oh, that their waiver wire is so thin. I think 12-player league is not the hardest in the world, but maybe the amount of roster spots we have leaves us with a thin waiver wire. But I'm telling you, there's people out there that are valuable. So I, might do a column I'm thinking about every week, but definitely I'm doing this week some pickups that are free agents right now that you could add that might add some value to your team. We've got Antonio Callaway, who I just dropped. I don't know his first name, but Kirk from Arizona. I think he had a touchdown last week. Cameron Kirk, something like that. But he's a wide receiver for Arizona. You can pick him up. Has a chance. Cordell Patterson for New England. The New England Patriots. They're hot right now. They're trending. Go get him if you want a good wide receiver that might could get you a touchdown or two. And then last is Laquan Treadwell from Minnesota is available as well as a free agent right now that you can pick up. So the running back pool is kind of thin, but those are some good wide receivers for you. Maybe I'll do running backs next week, but some good waiver wire pickups for someone like Manny or Scotty or even BB or Tony or Shay that might need win. Try somebody new. Get rid of some of the old faithfuls. I know you want to hold on to people like Larry Fitz, right? And these guys that have been producing, but they're just not. They're done. Does that make sense? So there's some waiver wire pickups. Go vote on the poll, and I'll see you guys on the digital field.